Looking to make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all.
Born into a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her life, left at night.
Hey everybody, it's Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the IMpACT channels. I am the president and founder of all of these things, and I am excited that you are joining us here on Community IMpACT. We usually at this time have our One Hope Wine mid-month program. But unfortunately, due to scheduling and due to, quite frankly, poor internet everywhere, the last month and a half have been problematic. So what we are doing is we are working with Melissa to try to make the show better and more consistent. So we ask of your to please forgive us and give us another 2 weeks when we're going to be back better than ever. Next month, starting on the first Wednesday of the month, we are going to be joined by two programs. We're going to be bringing back Dignified Dementia, who we were unable to put together a good show for them. So we're going to bring them back, show them that we actually care, and give them the respect that they deserve. And then we're going to be talking to Differently Abled Entertainment, and a wonderful program that takes and is being an advocate for those with disabilities towards, when it comes towards the entertainment business. There's a lot of times, and we all have seen it, where people who are fully abled are the ones who are playing the roles of people who are, there are talented people out there with, ability challenges. And we don't really, we could really do a better job by showcasing them. One of our dear friends, and I hate to start this out like this, one of our dear friends and one of our great longtime partners had a heart issue recently, Mr. Brian Gibson with Project Die Hard. You can support Project Die Hard by shop, click, and pick above and support what he's doing. Brian was in for surgery, and we are awaiting word on how he's doing. I guess the good news is I haven't heard nothing bad yet. So, but Brian, you are in our hearts, you're in our minds, and we wish you the best of luck. Again, we ask you to please go and check out projectdiehard.org and see what they do. 22 veterans, well, it's much more than 22 veterans, but every day a veteran takes their life. Multiple veterans take their lives. And Brian was about to become one of those statistics. Well, he is still here, thankfully. and he's here to try to help others. Well, unfortunately, if he has a heart issue, he can't be here to help others. So please consider using the QR code above to visit with our community pay it forward giving partners, shop with them, and support Project Die Hard and all the great work that they do. Today on our show, we're going to be revisiting three of our giving partners: Carolyn Rasmussen with Pampered Chef. Then we've got Harold Kiefer with Hitch Corner, and Craig Gustafson of Winning People Skills. Um, all three of them have come from a different place. Carolyn, you've heard us talk and work with her for quite a while. And now we are doing something different to where we are going to start putting together some events for people who need it. And I'm excited that we get to work on this next step and we get to move towards helping people. So our first guest tonight, in which is actually just a replay of the show, but our first replay is with Carolyn Rasmussen. Please stay with us. We'll be right back with Carolyn Rasmussen. Really excited about this because we brought back Carolyn Rasmussen. How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Zach.
It's really good to talk to you again. Caroline and I were just talking about how we can really work with Pampered Chef and how we at Community Pay It Forward can really help make a huge difference. And we are going to do something with Pampered Chef that we don't really do with a lot of other people. What we are doing is we really want to support the nonprofits of your choice. But if you come through Community Pay It Forward with a nonprofit in mind and you want to put together an event to raise money for them, no matter who they are, you come through Community Pay It Forward. We connect you with Carolyn and we have a party. Community Pay It Forward will help you advertise your party to try to get more people to show up at your party, working with Carolyn, and we will work towards doing more support and helping you out. So if you'd like more information, we'll be sharing, I'll be sharing out further information a little bit later. But Carolyn, let's talk a little bit more about this. This is a great chance for you guys to be able to get out there and learn more about some of the great causes that are out there.
Yes, absolutely. And I always love helping these organizations. And the cool thing about doing this with Pampered Chef is you're going to just have a link. All when he says party, this doesn't mean you necessarily have to have people together. This is I'm going to give you a link, and you get all your friends and family with you to help. And they purchase things. Right now, it is so expensive to go out and eat at a restaurant.
Yeah.
And you can funnel that money into one or two key pieces that make it so easy to cook at home, and you save tons of money day after day, right? So it's a money saving opportunity for you, for your friends and family to cook at home. And I'm here to help with recipes, how to use the tools if they're having trouble with using it, or it didn't quite turn out like they expected to be, and I can tweak and help them. Not like if you go to a regular store. So you got me in addition to the purchase. But when you buy to help your family, then you're also going to help the cause. So a percentage of the sale goes back, and Community Pay It Forward will be the sponsor of the fundraiser, but it'll be earmarked for your cause. So you could spread the word. The more orders, the better. I'll have it set up so there will be kind of a, we call it table, and it's a platform that is private. It is just for Pampered Chef, and it is a private group. Think of it like a private party room. Do you remember, Zach, when we were young, or when your kids were young, and you do the parties at the skating rink or at the movie theater, and you get the private party room, right?
Oh yeah, yep.
So you'd rent that out. So think of it like that, because the only people in there are going to be the people that you are interested in being there, and me. And I will be able to facilitate, answer questions. There's going to be recipes, there's going to be tips, there's videos of products being used, all on this place, so that it's got a full immersive type um, feel, plus a virtual kitchen that you can walk through, this cool little cartoon kitchen that's got products. You can see it out on the counter and stuff. So it's a full opportunity, and then to pay it forward and let that purchase, which is not an upcharge, that chopper or whatever is the same price no matter how you buy it from Pampered Chef. And then the percentage will go back to Community Pay It Forward and then be earmarked for your organization.
And by the way, just to let you know, and you know, you and I have talked a couple times over the years, and I ended up getting a can opener through you, and it actually is still working. Thank God we found a can opener that still works. So that it was that to me is like amazing. I have never had a can opener that works more than 2 weeks, and now it's been a year and it's still working. So it's going great. I would like to just make a point on a point that you made, and you were talking about how expensive it is to go to a restaurant. You also don't know exactly what you're getting in that restaurant. You know, and look, this is coming from a guy who cooked. I cooked for 2 decades of my life. Okay, that was what I did, and you. And as a cook, one of the frustrating things is that you send out what is on the menu, but that might not be what the customer themselves sees. This is something where there's no confusion there. You create this for your family. You know exactly where you know how the sausage is made, literally. Okay.
Yes.
And you're in charge of it. You're in charge of doing this. And this is something that you really have great control over. And as you said, you also get to support and sponsor something that you love. And this is one way that we, Carolyn, yourself, and I, and our respective companies, we get to take and hold your hand and help you as you're
Yeah.
supporting a great community cause.
Absolutely. And, Pampered Chef has been around, believe it or not, since 1980. So, this fall it'll be 44 years, which is kind of crazy. But we stand behind our products. And, like your can opener, we don't sell stuff that's not going to last. And that's been our hallmark forever. People have stones that they've had in their kitchen for 30 years. It's a quality product that when you get it, you know that you'll be. Some people tell me, I thought I was a terrible cook. It wasn't that they were a terrible cook. They had terrible tools. And when you have the sharp knife, when you have the cookware that cooks evenly, there's a lot of stuff that it makes a difference in the results. And then you feel successful. But I have a superpower. And Zach, you and I haven't really talked about my superpower exactly, but my superpower is I'm a lazy cook. So I come up with really easy recipes. Okay. So people love to be able to cook for their family in 15 or 20 minutes, not 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I can break down meals. I can help break them down to cook for a few people, supply them up for cooking for more people. My favorite recipe to talk about is the fajitas in the microwave with a certain rock crock. You can cook fajitas in 15 minutes from raw chicken to on the table.
Wow.
And you cook it in the microwave, and there's nothing wrong with cooking in the microwave. And believe it or not, it comes out phenomenal. And a pork tenderloin in the microwave is better there because you know what? Here's a secret: your microwave stops and turns itself off. So when it
Wow.
turns itself off, it won't overcook because you know exactly how long to cook it.
See, that's amazing to me. I know that cooking pork tenderloin, and this is something that my wife refuses to cook pork tenderloin. She does not do it. She swears up and down, and my wife is a fantastic cook, but she swears up and down she cannot cook a tender pork tenderloin. That's my job. I do that. I have
Mhm.
never in my life ever given an inkling of a thought to putting it in the microwave.
I
That is
know.
just that is intriguing. We're gonna have
Yeah.
to talk a little bit more about that. Um, you and I we did a wonderful themed event last year for the 22-hour podcast going into 2023, where we did it around Mardi Gras. And that was one of the great things that you did. You did a jambalaya, we did a chili, and you did a cake using, the pop biscuit crescent rolls. And it's amazing some of the things that you come up with, and we were able to share that. What are some of the top things that people are able to create with some of the things that you sell?
Um, my biggest thing is, meal time, because that's usually the biggest pain point. And so, like the fajitas or the pork tenderloin in the microwave. But the other thing I love, hey, let's cook once and eat twice.
Yeah.
If you're someone who doesn't mind leftovers, and if you do mind leftovers, get over it. So, take a take a sheet pan and take, these chicken breasts these days are giant, so one chicken breast can feed two people. So take two chicken breasts, tenderize your chicken breast. Zach, you probably know it because you're a chef, right? You tenderize chicken breast always, always, always. Do not cook it without tenderizing it, with the flat side, not the pokey thing. So tenderize your chicken breast and season them like you like it and wrap them in parchment paper. Get a giant sheet pan and take your four different vegetables: Brussels sprouts, sweet potatoes, broccoli, um, you know, whatever else you want to do, like four different ones, carrots maybe. Put those on the four corners, put those parchment paper wrapped chicken breasts in the middle, stick it in the oven. And I don't remember off the top of my head the temperature. It's like 350, 400 for 30 minutes or whatever. You've got four meals or four lunches right there, right? So, there's a lot of things. It's just being a Pamper Chef consultant, I have at my fingertips a ton of recipes that our test kitchen and our nutritionists have put together. And then just through my experience, what I've done. And there's easy. I mean, we got all these awesome baking tools that make you look like a fantastic baker. And it's just because you had a tool that made it easier. We're branching into coffee. So we got a frother if you're a coffee person.
Wow.
You know,
Okay.
the coffee drive through is a little expensive. And if you could froth at home and put the syrup in yourself at home.
I've said this before. Being a guy who rides a motorcycle, being anywhere near those coffee drive-throughs, it's like being anywhere near a bar. People lose their mind when they're driving around those things. Those things ought to be outlawed. People are insane to get into coffee places. So do it at home. I love this idea. I love,
Yeah.
love, love this idea. Um, you mentioned about the right tools. I would like to just tell you a story about a pan that we've got. We've got a pan that if you're not making, like if you're not just boiling water with it, it's useless. It scorches everything. It scorches everything. It's good for like boiling vegetables. If you're going to boil corn on the cob, perfect pan for it. But if you're going to make a gravy, it's a terrible pan because it gets too hot on the bottom and the sides don't get, and the
Hmm.
sides just don't keep up with it. So you scorch on the bottom and burn everything. These are what she's talking about. You have pan the ones behind you, And I swear, but but, you know, but yeah, having having a pain, because you're right. I really think they're terrible at things. And it's just because something, if the bottom gets too hot and it doesn't match with the sides, it's gonna burn everything.
Yeah, yeah. It absolutely does. And when you've got the core with the titanium and the aluminum, like, and so that it'll disperse the heat even up the sides, it's so much better than having the heat just where the burner is. And that makes a difference. And we even have a non-stick line that will do induction, and that's hard to find. Usually the induction does not work on non-stick pans because they're aluminum. Aluminum's not magnetic, therefore induction doesn't work. So we have a lot of stuff. We have a whole cast iron line. But you know what's kind of behind me is all our serving stuff. This right here, this blue thing actually is not to cook in. It is an insulated bowl. That is a pasta salad and it can be kept cold. So we have a little saying, it's a Yeti for your sketty. So
Uh,
you could put spaghetti in there and it'll stay hot. So it's, think of the old school thermos. You can barely see the edge of it right up here, but it's silver. It's a metal inside and it's insulated. The lid will go on it and it seals. You can keep your beans hot without having to have a heat source. So
Wow.
it's really cool for picnics. And of course, that's cool and serve tray over here with a cold pack at the bottom. So, I mean, we've got everything that you need for your kitchen and more, and gadgets and everything else to make you look like a fancy cook, to help you be the cook for your family. It is important to me that I know what's in my food, which is what you said. Some people can't have as much salt. Some people don't like beans. Some people, you know, can't eat gluten. All of our seasonings are gluten free. We have a brownie mix and a chocolate chip cookie mix that are amazing that are gluten free. We have other cake mixes and meal starters, minestrone soup, and all this other stuff that you can make that takes the challenge out of cooking so that you don't mind cooking at home. Even if it's 2 or 3 nights a week that you change your habits, it makes a difference. And there's another piece, Zach. I know you were a dad, and kids are very important to you. And sitting around the table and talking to your kids in the evening is huge, and it's very important in their development and your relationship. I'm about 4 months away from being an empty nester, but I've got two boys that called me first when anything happens in their life because we are their core, their structure, their root. That I go back to the fact that we ate almost every dinner together.
There's nothing like it when I get to have one of the kids. We just got together with my wife's kids. We got together with us all, and we all sat down, we all ate together, and we had a conversation. And this was the first time that we've ever been able to sit down and do that. And it was such a great time because me, as the guy who's just coming into their life, we got to learn a lot more about each other. And her son and we've had a couple dinners together. He's been able to come here, but meeting my daughter, in Oklahoma, and being able to sit down and have that extra time with her, that was great for me because now I get to know her a little bit better. I know more about the kids. I know more about this. My own sons, yeah, they're away now. When my youngest son, he still lives here in Colorado, but I don't see him very often. When he can come over and he sits down and we have a meal together and we're able to talk, we can get caught up. We can talk about the things that we talk about. He and I talk about hockey all the time, but this is a time he and I can sit here and actually talk about other things. Hey, how's work going? How's this going? What do you need help with? And you're right, it's so important to do that. The other part that you were talking about is, when you're cooking for your family, I got a father who has a heart condition right now. He's got to cut out on his salt. My wife and I are taking care of my parents. They're getting elderly. We cook for my parents every night, just about. And this is a way that we can make sure that, what? He's not, we don't have that pissed off cook in the kitchen going, yeah, you want light salt. Yeah. Not that that ever happens.
We don't want to know what happens in the kitchen, Zach.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. So, But there you go. This is a great way to, reason to do this. One of the other things that you said about kitchen, having a kitchen party or having a cook over with your family and stuff, you don't want them to come over and see mismatched pots and pans and, hey, look at my spatula that, great grandma has handed down to everybody that is all, pan fried on the end, and, you can't slide nothing underneath it without squishing
Right.
it. You want to have that nicest equipment in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does make cooking, if cooking's a chore, it might be because of what's in your kitchen.
Yep. And I've heard a lot of people say, look, I love Pampered Chef, but it's a little expensive. But you have got a great reason why. That's because they have you.
Yeah, you get me. When you go to a big box store and buy a product, even if you go to the fancier ones that are more expensive, comparable in price, for quality, right? Or we're under the price on a lot some stuff and not on others. You leave the store, you're not going to get help.
Mhm.
The biggest example is the pressure cooker phase, right? So many people have these electronic pressure cookers. There's, Instant Pot is the biggest name, right? That everybody knows, right? I can't tell you how many people have that in their kitchen, but they either only cook rice with it because and it's a glorified rice cooker, or they're afraid of it and don't know how to use it. If you if you have one of those, call me. If you have mine, then call me. But I'm here.
Yeah.
Number one, I use everything. My kitchen is full. I've got nearly the whole catalog. Okay. So I use everything and I will be able to talk you through it. And if I haven't solved that problem, I've got resources of other people that have. And I can call a home office and the test kitchen. So there's a huge advantage to having a personal person to reach out to. It's like your agent, right? Like you have an agent for insurance and you have an agent because you
Yep.
can talk to them.
Yep.
And so that's where I come in and I'm always available. I've got something I do. It's called Recipe Club. And I'll text you a newsletter with a recipe once a month. It's actually usually got 3 recipes in it. I have that kind of stuff all the time. You have the personal part of it to help you. And if you get the product and you don't like it, I'll step you through, make sure you're using it properly. And if not, we'll return it. We've got a 30-day money back guarantee on everything.
So again, this is a chance for you to cook. You don't have to be Gordon Ramsay and throw stuff across the damn kitchen. You can actually cook things, enjoy cooking, and be good at it as long as you have the right equipment. You did mention your emails that you send out. How do people get a hold of you, and how do people put themselves on your email list?
So that is a text list or on an email list. The best way, see, I'll probably have to, because I don't have this one memorized, is if you'll text me, give me a second here because I have a work number and that work number hasn't stuck in my head yet. um, and so I got to pull it up really quick. 469 and that will you can text me there, you can call me there. Text is probably better and I can get back with you on anything that you need, any questions. Go through Zach if you want to set up one of these fundraisers through him, and a percentage of that coming back is amazing, and you're helping them, like you're helping everybody in your family upgrade their kitchen so that they can cook at home. And then we'll also raise funds for your favorite organization.
Carolyn, one of the things that you and I talk about quite often, and one of the things that I really need to make sure that people understand, one of the best things about you doing this, okay, is one, you are raising money, which is vital for nonprofits, okay? Nonprofits, charity causes, they need money. They do. But you know what? There's another thing that you're adding onto this that is just as important. You are telling people about what they do. And this is a party, okay? This is a party where you don't have to have people in the same kitchen to do this. You guys can be all over the country and we can help you put this together. And we are proud to be teamed with Carolyn on this journey to make this happen. If you want, just you know what, I don't want to party. I just want to buy stuff. Buy it through us. Buy it through Carolyn, and you get to support one of the missions that have asked us for help. this is a way that you can really make a huge difference in your kitchen for something you love. And great for the people you love,
Yes.
using people that hopefully you kind of like. So, you know, I think that's great. Once again, that number is 469-397-4406. 469-397-4406. Sorry, y'all got to look up my neck and me reading there, kind of the old man reading. What is that? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, what right now is on sale that you suggest everybody should have?
So right now on sale is our bakeware. So the hottest thing I think in our bakeware, and I don't think I have it sitting next to me right here, I'd grab it, is our brownie pan. And think of it like 12 squares. Okay. And so everyone gets a crust, right? They're probably, yay big. But that brownie pan isn't just for brownies. Like for your parents, this is a perfect example. And for anybody else, portion control is a big issue, right? What if you made personal meatloaf? Or what if you made a breakfast casserole in each one of those and then put them in the freezer? So in the morning, you have a homemade breakfast casserole that all you got to do is put it in the microwave to warm it up because it's already pre-cooked. I mean, you can make using the frozen raviolis, you can make lasagna in there. Super easy. Again, it's a little bit of process, but not completely processed, and you're controlling somewhat of it. But you can make so many things in that brownie pan ahead, and then you've got that night that's crazy that you're running in the door at 7 o'clock and you still want to eat and you don't want to go through the
Yep.
drive-through. Your freezer's full.
Yep.
So the brownie pan, it's got a beautiful kind of a Tiffany blue backside, and it's non-stick, so it's easy to clean. You have amazing dessert makings I could do corn muffins and regular muffins, but then you can also make savory and meals out of it too.
Well, I want to also remind everybody that this is a perfect time to tell everybody exactly what we always say. This is a perfect time. If you make a little bit too much food, you can always put it in the old butter bowl that you just emptied to create your creation, and take it out and share it with somebody out there who needs your help. Who's struggling with hunger. I mean, this is such a perfect idea. Again, we don't have it right at this recording, but by the time this recording happens, if you look down right about now, there's going to be a code down there. If you follow that code, we will help you get set up with Carolyn, and you can have an event for any nonprofit you choose. It doesn't matter. You deal with the nonprofit, but we will help you advertise, and we may even help you. I don't know. We might be able to help you take in and share it with more people. We can talk about that. So there's a lot of things that we can do here at Community Pay It Forward, because we support Carolyn and we support Pampered Chef, because we know that they support other people. So please give her a call, or send her a text at 469-397-4406. Get yourself on her mailing list, but more importantly, let's have a party. Let's cook some things. Let's get some stuff sold, and let's support a nonprofit out there while you're doing some good things for your family. Maybe even impress them a little bit, huh? So prove to them that you are a chef. So, Carolyn, would you like to finish off by saying anything else?
No, that's it. Other than one thing you reminded me of is, and I love this quote from Ratatouille: anyone can cook. So you just have to make sure you have the right stuff to do it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Look, yeah, cooking is also something that is, you can probably attest to this. Cooking is something great to do with your family. I know my wife and her son, they're on the phone at least 4 nights a week. He lives in Oklahoma. We're in Colorado. They're on the phone 4 nights a week talking about what they're cooking. Cooking is family. This is a great way to make your extended family be part of what you're doing together. So give us a call. We can help you build your party. Let's get your kitchen the focus of a lot of great things happening, helping other people. So for Carolyn Rasmussen, my name is Zach Clayton with Community Pay It Forward and Pampered Chef. Hey, let's work to help so many people together and cook some food like those ribs. Bye.
Bye.
looking to make a difference with everybody, how's it going? I am here with our brand new partner, Harold Kiefer. Harold and I met at Achieve Systems Academy, and he and I, it was kind of funny. I went first. He heard what I did. He went shortly after I did, and I was really attracted to what he was talking about because he is talking about something that I adore, which was camping. And being in northern Colorado, we have a lot of animal movements and transportation, camping again, but a lot of things to do with something that I've never even thought of. And Harold, one of the first questions that I asked you, and you own Hitch Corner. And one of the first questions I asked you is, how many things are there to do with hitches? Because I never really thought about it, and you really opened my eyes. Can you tell us how many things are there to do with hitches?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like kind of like even ask the question, it kind of breaks down into we've got your standard bumper pole. So on the back, we can tow our small camping trailers, a little bit bigger camping trailers, motorcycles, jet skis, boats, obviously. But then right now we're doing like 60% of our hitches for a bike rack or a cargo carrier, guys that just want to get their toys to their destination. Whether it be bikes or like with a cargo carrier, bringing wood for the fire or their barbecue, that kind of stuff. And then on the larger side, then we get into the bigger hitches into the beds. We've got gooseneck hitches for the big ranchers and the horse trailers, and then the big fifth wheel hitches, for all the fifth wheels that are out there. So there's a ton. And then finally, we actually have front receivers for guys that you can plow with. And also, if you're towing all this big stuff off the rear and still want to take your bikes, you can do a bike rack off the front as well. So yeah, you asked a great question because it's amazing. You can do a lot with a little thing, attached to your vehicle.
You know, that actually brings up another thing because I told you I had a truck once that I was thinking about doing plowing with my truck. And when I was talking to somebody about it, they were talking about how it kept screwing up their front end. And what's the difference between actually putting one of the other kind of plows on as compared to what
Sure.
you guys offer?
Yeah, so the one you generally see is the more the commercial plow, which is a hydraulic,
Mhm.
it's heavy, it's a beast. But if you're going to be plowing like constantly and you're doing, lot to lot to lot or whatever, that's probably the way to go. But for ones that we sell, goes into the 2-inch receiver, and we have two different ones. We have one that has electric winch, so it helps to lower and raise it. And then we have a very simple one that literally you just get out, you drop it, and then gravity does all your work for you. You can always angle them left, right, or straight. But the difference is on that light duty one, we're only talking 200 pounds of beating on the front of your vehicle, as opposed to a hydraulic that's probably upwards of 1,000 pounds, which is just they're monsters. And then even our heavier duty electric one, you're talking more about 450. So at the end of the season, you're not replacing tie rods, bushings,
Yeah.
suspension issues. But the ones we sell are truly. I don't want to get too crazy. We do our lot with it, and you can, but this is going to be more for a lot here and there or a long driveway. More of your simpler plowing for sure, but it's amazing how simple they are, but they work very effective. So, but yes, you hit on the head. You're not going to beat the crap out of your poor truck, that's for sure. So,
Right. So you got one that is better if you're just taking and doing your own property, maybe your neighborhood or something like that, instead of going and spending that tons of money on the industrial kind. You got something
correct.
that works so much better. One of the other things that you guys specialize in are fifth wheels, and so what are the difference between like a fifth wheel hookup and a rear hookup?
Yeah. So a fifth wheel. So basically, when you're putting your weight into the bed, so like a semi truck is the best way to think of it. That's what a fifth wheel is, just so everyone has an idea.
Right.
But when you're putting that in the bed, that means we can carry a lot more payload by having weight in that bed. So we can do a much bigger trailer. So we're talking, we can tow, you can do a fifth wheel trailer up to 30,000 pounds with some of these newer trucks, which is insane, but it's there. But also the big difference is even though these things are monsters, the fact that they're in the bed as opposed to being off the rear of the vehicle, you can actually, your turning radius is much easier. The hookup is actually much easier. So even though these are much bigger trailers, it's amazing how you can actually tow a lot easier with a big fifth wheel. And it just actually, the towing in a lot of cases actually better, meaning more comfortable ride than going with like a big 30 foot off the rear of the truck. So
30,000 pounds, that is amazing. That
yes.
when you think about it, an 80,000 pound truck is a semi. So I mean, just think about that.
Yeah.
60% of a semi, or I'm sorry, just short. You're 40% of what a semi can do. That's flat out amazing. I
Yes.
can't believe that. Um, the bike and ski racks, brake controls,
Yes.
camper tie downs, cargo carriers and cargo boxes. All of these things are so great for the state that we live in, which is Colorado. And this is such a great place for people to come if they're visiting Colorado and something goes wrong.
Absolutely. We're always there. It gets a little tough depending on what the issue is, meaning trying to get it resolved quickly because we get booked out quite a bit. But we always do our best for walk-ins. If they come in and say, hey, I've got, XYZ problem. Do you think you can look at it? We'll say, we actually can look at it for sure, whether I can get it resolved that moment or not. But we can definitely work our best to get you in so you can get back on your travels, get out there, do your camping, get to the next state or wherever you're traveling to. So absolutely.
Harold, tell me a little bit about the story. And your dad started this company, and he it found a little bit of hard time because of because of the sign of the times, the recession, but you were able to build it back up.
Yeah, it was, we had, we all kind of felt those, right? I think '08 was our big one. That was the one that
Yeah.
we really felt the most. But yeah, we got through that and then slowly, and we got through it one by just being who we were, solving what people needed. Nice things, people were still traveling, just not as much. But then when they got going, but then we just kind of expanded, like we really got into big on the bike racks. Now we have a whole full line of RV accessories. So we got through it mostly by trying to add more so we could truly become, as we try to brag about being the one-stop shop. And that kind of helped, solidify that, so to speak. But yeah, it's just, I think we've all been there. It's just, you just had to work a little bit harder, a little bit more, and just make sure that the customers are happy with what we're doing, to be honest with you. That's what it comes down to in the end. So
Yeah, there probably wouldn't be much of a market if you were just doing the, receiver hitch in the back of your, the receiver hitch in the back of your pickup. I mean, you would do stuff around Colorado maybe because of all the agriculture and horses and cattle movement, but that's more of a fifth wheel thing anyway. But yeah. So, what are like the most popular things that you guys are working on right now?
sure. Truly our biggest, I mean, our bread and butter, the one we do the most is really a hitch and wiring. So, people can tow their boat trailer, their camping trailer, their motorcycle trailer. And then, like I said, doing a lot of hitches for bike racks and that's even on like the really small sedans. Like we're doing hitches on Mini Coopers. We're doing them on every Subaru. Subaru is by far our most popular, whether it's, the
Oh yeah.
Crosstreks, the Outbacks, whatever. But it's the bread and butter for us is getting that in those installations done so people can take their toys where they want to go. And then obviously trying to get more of the big boys, trying to get these fleet guys in with the truck accessories. We're getting there a little bit, but we're trying to get more. So, but our bread and butter, we're hitting every day is that. And then our really big one that's become more of a push is guys setting their vehicle up to be towed behind a motorhome.
Yeah.
So because it's pretty intense. You have to put we have to put what they call a base plate on the front of the vehicle, which means we're dismantling the whole front of the car, putting this on, putting the car back together, wiring it up so the lights work, putting in a brake system. So pretty intensive, but for all these people that, you got a big motorhome, you don't want to get there and then have to go to the restaurant in your motorhome. You'd rather take your car, or you're going to go sightseeing. You'd rather take your car. So that's been one of our bigger things that we probably do 3 to 4 a week now. So
Right. This is about the perfect time because campgrounds are starting to open up
exactly.
right. So you got the people who go out and set up camp all year long or all summer long. All honesty here, you said something a couple times about motorcycles and being a biker myself. Those are the one things that kind of bug me, because I'm a guy who rides. The
Right,
thought of
right.
having a motorcycle trailer, that's cool as long as you can camp inside the motorcycle trailer. Other than that, guys, gals, ride the bike. That's what
Right,
you bought it for. It's always one of those things. I hear people say, yeah, we're putting the bikes on the trailer and heading up to Sturgis. I'm like, it's like a 5-hour ride. Why are you putting it on a trailer? It
exactly.
just doesn't make any sense to me. But
Right.
I'm one of the guys that they would call someone with an iron ass. I
Right. Well, that's,
enjoy. Yeah, I
and I
enjoy.
would say probably, Zach, mostly more of ours are guys, more of the maybe off the off-road guys that are taking their bikes up to the hills and then hitting the roads, or the trails. But you're exactly right. Totally agree. So it's time to enjoy that bike, get on the road. So
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, So if somebody comes in with a wiring issue, say from out of state, they can come to you and there's no guarantee you can get to it right away, but you guys will take a look at it and diagnose it and tell them, even if it's something maybe you couldn't get at right away, is it something that maybe you could help them point them in the direction to replace?
absolutely. And I'll tell you what, especially nowadays, kind of we were talking about, you were talking about how we could do hitches on the rears all day. The crazy thing is most of these vehicles already come with hitches and wiring from the factory. So
Hmm.
it's amazing how many times guys come in and literally, if it has the factory wiring, it's as simple as a fuse that's been
Yeah.
created like a short by the trailer. So yeah, so our first thing is we look at the truck and we'll just use a Ford for right now. We know exactly where all the Fords, the fuses are. If we don't, we say, hey, hand me your owner's manual. Let's go through it real quick. And a lot of times, literally, we can have this fixed in 5 minutes and get the people on their way. So sometimes it's actually rather easy. But if the person doesn't know it, they would never know how to resolve. So
Yeah, I know. At one point in time, I was trying to place a trailer onto a hitch, and I could not get the lights to work. And then I realized it's because I pinched a wire in the
yeah,
coupling and
yeah,
kind of broke the wire off, and that's the reason why it wouldn't work. So, but felt like a fool. Wasted about 2 hours trying to diagnose it, and realized, well, you can't put it, you can't sever that wire and make it go.
right.
Harold, they get a hold of you by calling 303-904-1558. That's 303-904-1558, correct?
Correct. And then they can also, a lot of people like to email. And if that's the case, that's info@hitchcorner.com. So info at hitchcorner.com. Especially if you're traveling, like some people are like, oh crap, I have this problem. It's like, late at night, they can send an email or they can leave a message on our phone by calling that number for sure. So
Let me ask you this question. Do people sometimes do preemptive checks? Maybe they're coming into town. They say, hey, you know what? We know that we're going to go. We know that we're going to go on a trip on Labor Day. We might as well stop in just for a wellness check on my trailer. Do they ever do that?
they do. I'd say probably, one thing, I'd say the bigger one on that is if people are using a weight distribution system, they'll call and say, hey, we're going to swing by. Would you take a look at it and see, we believe we've got it set up correctly? And then the other one is, and this is a little bit more difficult because the trailer has to be dropped off, but we obviously encourage people every season. And I try to do it more either at the very, very start of the season or the very end of the season. But that is to get their bearings checked, packed,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because that's a big issue when you don't want to learn the hard way. If you haven't packed your bearings for a couple years and you throw a bearing, now you're out in the middle of nowhere, and that you just ruined your trip. And so those are more some of the preemptive things that we try to get people into Just they need to be aware that you can't just run on something forever without getting it checked. So
Yeah. So suggestion, you know what, if you're going to be in town, and for all of you who live in Colorado, let's start making plans to get your bearings done, maybe after the season. But do a preemptive check. I think it's me personally, I think it's smart that, if you're going somewhere, make sure that everything is as good as possible. Last thing in the world you want to do, and I've been in some camping spots where they're extremely, extremely bumpy, and you get in there and all of a sudden you lose a wheel. That's probably not the best thing in the world to do.
right,
No
exactly.
cell phone service, and you got one wheel gone. Can't exactly call AAA and have them come up
That
and
is
help you with
true.
that. So, but once again, Harold, your phone number is 303-904-1558. 303-904-1558. If you go to communitypayitforward.us, all you have to do is go up to the info bar, search bar, and hit hitches or fifth wheel, bike racks, brake control, any of that, and it's going to come up. So, but Hitch Corner owner Harold Kiefer, thank you so much for joining me today, and thank you for becoming a partner and helping us to help others.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. We're looking forward to helping people out. So we love
You
it.
know what? Yeah, me too. And again, this is thrilling for me because, like I said, I didn't know that this was even a thing, and I didn't know definitely how much of a thing this is. So I think
Sure.
there's a lot
So,
of things
well,
that
we
we can do
appreciate
to
it.
help
So
people out. So, but thank you so much, Harold.
thank
Looking to
you.
make a difference with your shopping? Visit communitypayitforward.us. Select the mission or cause you want to support and scan the QR code. You have two options. Click the first link and browse our giving partners, or use the second link to tell us what you need, and we'll find the right partners for you. Shop with these partners and keep your receipt or invoice. Next, click a picture or simply upload a picture of your receipt to the portal in every form, adding your name and email address. Your purchase now turns into a donation to the mission you've chosen. Community Pay It Forward shares your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all. Yeah, I want to thank Harold for joining us again. It still amazes me that I'm more open to seeing how many different types of hitches are out there, including industrial, some of these bigger trucks with trailers on them, concrete trucks and stuff like that, you know, that could be benefited by Hitch Corner. I want to once again beg you, if you need any work done, contact him. communitypayitforward.us/hitch-corner. communitypayitforward/hitch-corner. You can also get a hold of Carolyn Rasmussen at communitypayitforward.us/pampered chef Carolyn Rasmussen. All you have to do is go up to the search bar, type in whatever you're looking for. Whatever you're looking for will pop up, and you're going to be able to find it. Hey, I want to make very, very special mention to our brand new sponsor, somebody who really stepped up and has really given us a lot of support, and that's Jill E. Schultz from JillESchultz.com. Her story of overcoming shame to a life of self-love and abundance. She teaches you how to do this. We have an interview that was supposed to happen yesterday, but the weather made it impossible. So we're going to be recording on Friday, which means it's going to be ready for Monday morning or Monday afternoon's Footprints Forward. And I am really looking forward to this. Once again, I do want to make sure that everyone understands this is a story that can trigger. And if you ever feel like you've been triggered because of past abuses, please feel free to reach out to her at www.jilleschultz.com/get help, and they can help you find the right path of healing. Okay, so I want to thank again Jill E. Schultz from jilleschultz.com. You can contact her at care@jilleschultz.com. care@jilleschultz.com. Once again, she tells the story of overcoming her shame. She took upon what happened to her as it was her doing something wrong. Many people who have been victimized understand that story, and that they went through the same kind of thing, and maybe they haven't found a way to get out of there. Have them tune in Monday at 6 Eastern, 4 here in the mountain. Listen to the story with Jill. It's a heart-wrenching story where she's taken tragedy and turned it into something of support. I also want to make sure that everybody understands that you can be a part of the show and tell your story. Some of these stories that you've heard today by simply scanning the QR code and picking your time to come on and talk to us. Tell us what you want to talk about, and we'll go from there. You can also support our mission of helping people by telling their stories. There's a place where you can donate and help us keep our free to all outreach going, and every donation is much appreciated and definitely much needed. We also would like to request, and this is the first time I've ever done this, which is weird, but I definitely would ask you to please subscribe on our Facebook or on our YouTube, like us on our Facebook, X us on our X page, whatever it is. We've got different social medias out there, and we ask you, please check them all out and help support us on what we do. We haven't found a way to really monetize any of this as of yet, but you know what? If we get you with us, maybe that's a possibility, and we can really start helping people there as well. Again, I want to thank Harold for talking with us again. It was such a great time, and just reconnecting with him and listening to what he had to say. It really did. I appreciate it so much. When we come back, we're going to revisit with our last guest of the day, Mr. Craig Gustafson, who suffered from very, very difficult and the debilitating shyness and just people skills, not being able to talk and communicate. Another gentleman who worked hard to change around his life. So when we get back, it is my pleasure to reintroduce Craig Gustafson of Winning People Skills. this is a meeting that I had with Craig last week. We met for the first time last week. As a matter of fact, it was a week ago today, and it was something that I knew was out there, but I had never met anybody who had this to the point that he at the time had it, and then he switched it around and has used science. And anybody who follows this show knows how much I adore science, history, any of that, you know, genre. And so I again immediately asked him to go on ahead and join us today on Footprints Forward, because I think the lessons that he can teach us will be something that are going to help quite a few people out there. I'd like to introduce to everyone Mr. Craig Gustafson of Winning People Skills. Craig, how are you doing?
If I were any better, I would be in trouble.
Well, that's good. That's good, because it's not always been that way, has it?
It has not always been that way.
Can you explain to us exactly what you used to feel like? And like, if you were in this situation before you started using your scientific method, what would be your first thoughts?
Well, I am someone who isn't naturally good with people. And over half of our message doesn't come from our words. But that was the only message that I got. So let's say that you and I are sitting in a meeting. The words that were said and the conversations that happen, I would hear and understand. But everything below the surface, through people's body language and that sort of thing, I wouldn't get. Let's say, well, you're an educated guy. You ever showed up to a difficult class 10 minutes late, and you got the gist of what was going on, but you knew there was something important you were missing? That's how I felt in every meeting I ever went to. If I was there early, just because I didn't get the things going on behind the scenes. It turns out that I don't naturally read social cues, body language, or facial expressions. It's a very neurodivergent trait, although I am not on the spectrum, probably just because I don't have enough traits to be considered on the spectrum. But yeah, for whatever reason or for however, it's not something I ever learned to do. So partly as a result, I was often that guy. Everybody knows that guy. The guy who will say the right thing at the wrong time or the wrong thing at the perfect time. No one in my life had to wonder who that person was going to be, because it was likely me. And I wasn't mean about it or have bad intent. I was just socially oblivious.
And this wasn't something that happened every once in a while. This was something that you were dealing with all the time, right?
Until I was 50 years old. When I retired from the military in 2011, my last commanding officer said to me, you know, I always knew that you would be the one person who would tell me the truth. You would be the person that would tell the emperor he was wearing no clothes. The only thing I had to worry about was who was going to be around when you told me. Like I said, I was that guy. And it turns out that I was working for a company in San Diego, I guess about 2018. And I was helping them put together training resources for young people that they really wanted to retain. And part of that was the book Emotional Intelligence 2.0, which I was enthralled by because all of this was new to me. And I took the survey at the back of it. And I'm pretty certain when I hit enter, alarms went off in someone's office because I was just literally that socially oblivious. But it turns out that it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. Because when we get confronted with something like that, we have two choices, right? We can say, this is garbage, I don't buy it. I can't be that bad. Or you can say, okay, well, maybe this explains a lot and I should get curious and learn more and go find help. What I did, I went and found training for advanced social skills to learn to be good with people. And it has changed everything for me. Is, you know, along the lines that, well, one, if you can be anything, why not be amazing? But we all win when we have great interactions. And the science behind them isn't that hard. So I am on a mission to help people like myself learn to be amazing with other people. And it matters. Korn Ferry, the international HR firm that's actually the sponsor of one of the PGA tours, came out and said that 78% of HR professionals are having a hard time finding people who are high in emotional intelligence. Yet 90% of promotions go to those people. So if you're a young professional or someone who is struggling to get that next promotion, you may be like me, where people skills are the thing that are keeping you back. The good news is, in a very short period of time, 10 weeks usually, we can learn the science behind how we interact and change everything for you.
This formula, what are some of the things that can help? Like what are some of the telltale signs that this can help people to improve on?
Well, for me, after I took this class, I went back and I took that survey again. And instead of being in the upper 50s, low 60s, my scores right away were up in the 85th percentile. So learning to read social cues and learning to read people changed all of my interactions very, very quickly. Like I said, it's a science. And the great thing about it being a science is if we invest a little bit of energy into it, just like algebra, we can get better at it pretty quickly. But Korn Ferry actually went out and said that this is going to, in the digital age, this is going to be the next currency among the people who are successful and those who are not. Because in an age where fewer of us spend time in the company of people, it's even more important to be good with people when we are in the company. It's people who are willing and able to have a difficult conversation in a kind way.
Okay. When COVID comes along, and now we sit, as you and I are right now, hundreds of miles away from each other, but this is how we communicate. Does this make it harder for somebody to interact with people in the real world?
Yes. Because even though we're seeing each other on screen, we're still not getting the whole message. But being on screen is a lot better than just seeing each other through email. I'm someone who doesn't tend to text a lot because of my past, where everything was literal. And I have to be very mindful that tone and sarcasm don't show up well in text.
Yes. Yes.
Once again, it's easy for me to be that guy. And now that I've learned to be better, I want to do better. And I don't want a misunderstanding to ruin a great relationship. And it's easy for it to happen. And the people in my life matter to me. The company that I keep and the places that they say that we are the average of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. It turns out that we're also have the average income of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. So it pays to be mindful of who we spend our time with and who we give our time to.
I understand your hesitancy on texting. I'm the kind of guy that likes to make sure that my sense of humor, who I am, comes across in everything I do. And one of the biggest problems that I had, dog had
Of
an
course.
appearance during the podcast. She is, but things like I was talk myself, being, if you're hurt about what you're saying, you can't, no cues there, and so I understand that completely. Yeah, once again, want to thank Craig Gustafson for joining us. But I once again want to remind everybody, please keep Brian Gibson in your thoughts. He has went in. He's had a heart issue. Um, I'm not going to speak for what it was. I'm not a doctor, but he went in to get some valves cleared out. So I know it wasn't expected, and but hopefully he is doing well. I want to thank you all for joining us today on the show. We've had Harold Kiefer of Hitch's Corner, Carolyn Rasmussen of Pampered Chef, and Craig Gustafson of Winning People Skills. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Please remember to love somebody out there, because somebody out here loves you. Right up here, can't figure out my arms today. Right out here, there's a QR code. If you want to come on, tell your story, go to that QR code, fill it out, come and join us. Tell your story, tell us about what you do, why you do it, and what you can do to help people. My name is Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the PAC channels. I want to thank you all very much. Please remember, if you're not helping someone, you're hurting everyone. No one needs to go it alone. When we all come together, we will see you next week. Thank you to Jill E. Schultz for your support on our programming. Have a great day. We will see you all soon.